This is Adrian Manz. If you'd like a copy of my book, Around the Horn, A Trader's Guide to Consistently Scoring in the Markets, visit TraderInsight.com, where you'll receive a 30% discount and 3-day shipping. That's the best price anywhere, only from Trader Insight.
From Los Angeles, TraderInsight.com presents Dr. Adrian Manz in the war room and at the helm with today's look at stocks and sectors on the radar.
For TraderInsight.com, I'm Adrian Manz, and this is Stocks and Sectors on the Radar for Monday, April 6, 2009. On Friday, Dow Jones Industrials up 39.51 to close at 8017.59. We had 2,092 stocks advance, 954 decline, and NYSE total volume of 1.5 billion shares. Now take a look at these bars on the Friday session. This represents a backdoor slider setup. Got a backdoor slider into the bottom of the Dow box. That's good news. Backdoor sliders are a pretty powerful setup. If we get some additional good news on Monday, got every reason to anticipate a pop up into the box, and that would be very good going forward into earnings season. Now, as for the rest of the indices, we had the S&P 500 up 812 to close at 842.50. That's great. Still like to see it get up above 850 and push that 900 level. That would be some major constructive price action on the S&Ps. The Nasdaq 100 up 2186 to close at 1316.16, and the Nasdaq Comp up 1924 to close at 1621.87. Now, the VIX made a move lower on Friday. We're down into the 30s, down 39.70. We are now in territory that's a little bit easier to trade, as was evidenced by the price action in those stocks that we had on the radar for Friday. So if you've been watching this video for a while and you've been sort of following along, then Friday was the payday. I mean, they've all been pretty good. We haven't really had any of these go for losses. We've had a lot of days where we didn't have things trigger. We've had a lot of days where things weren't too exciting. But Friday's trading, if you watched the stocks and sectors that were on the radar, you had a very good day. So let's review those setups and what happened, and then we'll have a look at what's on deck for Monday's trading. First one we looked at on Friday, DR Horton, ticker symbol DHI. We had an 1125 entry, an 1160 target, and look at what happened. The exact high of the day was our $11.60 target. Read those chapters in Around the Horn, study that stuff, and learn to make heads or tails out of where stocks are going and what the likely inflection points are going to be. So that was a nice profit on the session. Lennar didn't trigger. We were looking at this one on the short side if the indices came in a little bit. This was a backdoor slider setup. Again, Lennar has not benefited as much from the move to the upside, but as we see here, Lennar did nothing on Friday, didn't trigger. Next one we had on deck was Copa Holdings. Copa was an infield fly setup. Ticker symbol on this is CPA. We were looking at a 31.10 entry. We had a 30.05 initial profit target, and look what happened here. We made it into the extended profit target. I had said on Friday it's a very powerful pattern. Infield flies tend to get into some pretty big range expansions when they get to moving. That's exactly what happened. We see that right off the opening bell, we had a bit of noise in the index, and we had a bit of noise on Copa Holdings as well. Nothing to worry about when it gets back up and trades in here. Triggers the trade. We get down as low as 30.36. Stock reverses, trades to the upside a little bit, gets us back up into the area that our profit target was, moves back down through it, and over the course of the session, we get a big move to the downside. So that's Copa. Now let's take a look at PPG Industries. PPG, this was a line drive setup. We were looking at a 42.50 entry. We had a 43.05 initial target, a 44.18 extension, and we made it all the way to 44.56. Then we had a double header short side setup in Greenhill & Company's ticker symbol GHL. Look what this one did. It got down there. It managed to close higher on the session, but guess what it did before that 73.75 entry? We had a $73 target, and the stock managed to go and put in a low down at 72.84, just below our target, and that was on the heels of some very orderly trade to the downside right off the trigger. Got the trigger around the opening bell, stock moves lower, it gets down, tags our profit target, goes a little bit beyond, reverses up and through, it gets us out on the session. For all the stocks and sectors on the radar, $3 a share in profits. Nice day for some stuff that's just on our screen because we happen to be watching it alongside the intraday trading plan. If you guys have questions about these setups, again, make sure you read the book first. Please make sure you read those chapters prior to sending me emails about them. I'm not going to explain the entire setup to someone. If you have questions about what validates the setup, or you have questions that are very specific to what you've read, then I'm happy to discuss that, clarify things a little bit, and get you up and running here and trading the around the horn stuff. So now let's take a look at what's on the radar for Monday's trading. So for Monday, we've got 4 sort of related stocks in consumer and retail, and then we've got 2 unrelated stocks, metals and mining and finance. The first one that I want to take a look at here, Avon Products, ticker symbol AVP. This is a backdoor slider setup. We've got this fastball bar here on the second, followed by this inside bar on the third. I'm going to be looking at this for a move above $21.59 a share. If I see that move, my initial target on it's going to be very tight, around $21.80, with an extended target up around $22.05. So the next one I'm going to be watching here is Ruddick Corporation. This is also a consumer. This is ticker symbol RDK. I'm going to watch this backdoor slider setup for a move above $25.15 a share. If I get it, I'm looking for an initial target somewhere around $25.60. Looks like it's got the room to do it. It's got that big gap between the early February and the late March numbers. Not quite looking for that to close that gap. I'm just looking for that move up to about $25.60. I've also got Group 1 Automotive, ticker symbol GPI. Another backdoor slider setup. Move above $16.75 a share on this specialty retail stock is going to have me looking for about a 40-cent initial profit, 45 cents, somewhere in there. And then finally in the consumer, again, we've got Mattel. Mattel here really looks like it's ready to go up and get into this gap that it's got. I sincerely doubt that we're going to see a move up to $13.97 on it, but if we get trade above $13.05, I would definitely be looking for the stock to get up to $13.45, $13.50 or so before it has an inflection and tries to pull back in again. You never know. If it's a big booming day, we might see a real move to the upside. But on a stock like Mattel, I'm always a little bit leery. Go with the shorter profit targets on those usually, and just see what's going on. Again, that's ticker symbol MAT. Then unrelated, we've got a short side setup in Harmony Gold Mining. This one, of course, the golds are all going to be moving lower as this market firms up a little bit here, or as we get this sentiment that indicates that people are a little bit more positive about things. Gold's pretty defensive. $9.56 on the downside on a sort of clean looking fastball setup. Would have liked to have seen this consolidation or this pullback be a little bit more defined, but if we get moves that take us down below 966 intraday, I'm going to look for them. I'm going to look for pullbacks against those moves. Going to look for some that's down around $9.25 on HMY, and then beyond on the extension down to about $9. Then finally, I've got Cash America International. This is in the financials. This one's a backdoor slider setup, long side again. $17.52 was the low on that bar, so it got down a little bit low. Like to see on backdoor slider, by the rules and around the horn, we'd like to see that consolidation be a little bit tighter. But anyways, trade above $18.51 a share. Gonna have me interested in a long side entry on this one. And really, in terms of a profit target, probably about 35 to 40 cents initially. Don't really have a tight target on it. Don't really have a lot of support and resistance that I'm looking to as far as projecting the price movement here. Remember, the pivots are going to be kind of tight on the backdoor sliders, since that's a very narrow range pattern, and pivots, of course, are based on an average of the high, the low, the close. So just going to have to watch this one pretty carefully. Watch that intraday price action, and watch the price action in the sector and the broader markets. So listen, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, adrian@traderinsight.com. Use protective stops on every trade, and have a great trading day on Monday.